Have you ever had someone next to you who appears friendly in words, but on an instinctive level, you know something doesn't add up? Have you ever felt a nagging unease, an intuition that something dark is hiding behind that smile? Carl Jung, one of the greatest scholars of the human mind, mentioned a fundamental concept called the shadow. The shadow is the hidden part of ourselves that we deny, but frequently manifests in how we treat others. And when someone feels hatred, envy, or resentment, they try to hide it, but never completely. The signs are there. They are subtle, but unmistakable. And today, I'll reveal 8 unmistakable signs that someone close to you has hostile feelings, even if they try to hide them. Be cautious, because sign number 8 is the most insidious of all, and it has the potential to turn your perception of certain people upside down. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the Mental Dose channel and the Telegram channel so you don't miss any future videos on personal and spiritual development. And now, let us begin. The first sign is contempt masquerading as irony. Hidden hostility does not always express itself openly. Some prefer to express it through sarcastic jokes, barbs, or biting irony. They make fun of things they know you are sensitive about. When you try to point it out, they say things like, "But I was only joking, don't be touchy," or "You don't know how to play the game." This behavior is particularly subtle because it makes you feel uncomfortable while the other person maintains the appearance of joking without malice. In reality, repeated irony about specific topics is a clear indication of hidden contempt. If his jokes always leave you feeling humiliated or belittled, and especially if they are repeated on the same topics over and over, they may not be humor, but rather a sign of repressed hostility. Jung contended that our personal shadow is projected onto others in a subtle and sometimes unintentional manner. When someone repeatedly employs irony to attack specific aspects of your personality, they are revealing a side of themselves that they cannot accept. The second sign is of covert sabotage. If someone close to you is threatened by your success or growth, they may attempt to undermine you in subtle ways. Sabotage is not always obvious or direct. It can manifest itself as misleading advice, miscommunications, or minor errors that, when combined, prevent you from achieving your objectives. A friend or family member who forgets to tell you important information, omits key details, or unintentionally complicates things, for you may not be as absent-minded as you believe. If these incidents occur repeatedly and consistently at critical moments, you should consider whether they are truly coincidental. Observing the consistency of these behaviors can help determine whether there is an unconscious desire to sabotage you. Jung explained that if a person lacks the courage to confront their own failures, they may unconsciously project their frustration onto others, impeding their progress in order to avoid feeling inferior. Sign number 3 refers to silent competition. Some people can't accept success without feeling the need to outperform themselves. Every victory you achieve is followed by an attempt by them to shift the focus to themselves or to minimize your accomplishment. When you share good news, instead of congratulating you, they respond with something about themselves. When you tell them about your success, they immediately say that they have accomplished something similar, if not better. This unspoken competition is often driven by deep insecurities. Those who practice it are unable to tolerate seeing you shine because it undermines their self-esteem. If every conversation with this person becomes a competition, there is probably an unspoken resentment behind it. Jung proposed that shadow projection causes people to see qualities in others that they are unable to develop in themselves. As a result, those who feel inferior will attempt to belittle or compete with you in order to avoid confronting their own feelings of inadequacy. Sign 4 refers to superficial support. Those who secretly despise you may conceal it with a superficial but unwarm kindness. When you need help, they downplay the issue or make excuses for not being there. When you achieve success, their enthusiasm becomes forced or non-existent. This attitude can be especially noticeable at pivotal moments in your life. If you notice that someone close to you is constantly unavailable at critical times or reacts indifferently to your accomplishments, they may not have genuine positive feelings for you. The absence of genuine support is not always obvious, but it becomes clear over time by observing the person's reactions to your moments of success or difficulty. Jung described ego dissociation as a mechanism that causes some people to feel emotionally disconnected from others. This can lead to coldness and an inability to help those around them. I sincerely hope you enjoy this video and find it useful and inspiring. If so, make sure to subscribe to both the Mental Dose and Telegram channels to avoid missing out on future similar content. Also, to help support our channel and our work, please leave a donation with your heartfelt thanks below the video. We will be eternally grateful. And now we'll move on to the fifth sign, control disguised as caring. Some people attempt to dominate your life under the pretense of doing so for your own benefit. They tell you what to do, criticize your every decision, and call into question your decision-making abilities. Their intention is not to support you, but to make you feel dependent on them. This control can be difficult to identify because it is frequently disguised as loving advice and genuine concern. How they make you feel is an important factor to consider. If each piece of advice makes you feel more insecure rather than more confident, you may be dealing with manipulation. Jung contended that the desire to control others stems from an intense fear of internal chaos. People who are unable to manage their own uncertainty attempt to control the lives of others in order to avoid dealing with their own emotional instability. The sixth sign is the spread of criticism and rumors. People with negative feelings for you rarely express them openly. Instead, they prefer to discuss them with others, spreading criticism and misinformation about you. This behavior is especially insidious because it affects you indirectly, often without your knowledge until you experience the consequences. If you notice changes in the attitudes of those around you that don't make sense, or if some friends or colleagues start avoiding you or acting colder, it's possible that someone is spreading false information about you. False or exaggerated rumors are a powerful tool in the hands of those with grudges because they damage your reputation and gradually isolate your public image. Jung explained that the desire to discredit others is frequently an unconscious attempt to project one's own insecurities and flaws onto them. People who feel inferior or dissatisfied attempt to compensate for their feelings of inadequacy by portraying others negatively. In other words, those who speak negatively about you are likely revealing more about themselves than about you. Sign number 7 is a lack of enjoyment in your accomplishments. People who genuinely care about you celebrate when you reach a milestone. They encourage you in difficult times while also celebrating your victories because they see your success as positive and rewarding. Those who hold grudges against you, on the other hand, find it difficult to hide their annoyance. You can spot them by their cold reactions, abrupt shifts in subject, or attempts to minimize your accomplishments. If you share an accomplishment and they respond with a detached, "Oh, that's great," or immediately shift the focus back to themselves, they may be suffering from envy or poorly managed competition. Jung explained that the inability to rejoice for others indicates an unresolved internal conflict in which the success of others serves as a reminder of one's own shortcomings. This occurs because seeing you achieve your goals emphasizes what they have not been able to accomplish. People who feel this way frequently try to downplay your accomplishments by using phrases like, "Well, it's not that important. I did something similar a while ago," or "You should have done better." These words are not just opinions, but manifestations of a hidden impatience. If you notice that someone around you is having difficulty celebrating your victories and displaying signs of annoyance rather than happiness, it is likely that they are feeling something very different than what they are expressing. The eighth sign deals directly with nonverbal language and hidden details. Hidden hatred manifests itself in the most subtle ways. It is frequently expressed without words, but rather through involuntary attitudes and signals. A glance that escapes at the wrong time, a forced smile. A sudden change of expression or tense silence can convey far more than 1,000 words. Many people try to hide their emotions, but the body always reveals the deepest ones. If someone pretends to appreciate you while harboring hostility towards you, you will notice it in subtle gestures. Their hands stiffen when you mention success. When they compliment you, their tone of voice changes slightly, and at times they avoid eye contact. Jung claimed that the body and unconscious never lie. Even when someone tries to hide their emotions, non-verbal cues always reveal them. This occurs because the conscious mind can put on a mask, whereas the body responds to genuine emotions. If you detect tension, discomfort, or coldness in someone, trust your instincts. You may have detected a signal indicating that your conscious mind is having difficulty rationalizing. Recognizing these signals requires concentration and sensitivity. Words can be misleading, but body language and minor details always reveal the truth. Thank you for following us on our journey. See you in the next video.